Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Season 4 Bwoah Racing League Belgian GP. And of course, I've missed quite a bit of qualifying, probably the most entertaining qualifying we've had in a long time. So for the handful of you all watching, hope you've been tracking it close. And as long as the game doesn't hit me with any kind of hiccup, we should be good to go. For the last couple of minutes of qualifying, considering General Pepe is not out on track, we could possibly see a rare pole sitter here today. And yep folks, we are back. We should be good to go. Quali's down to its last minute or so. General Pepe not out on track. Big Man Joe seeming to be quite competitive out there, and both the Alpha Tauris right up there in the mix with the front runners. So we've definitely got a race, a treat of a race to watch. Yep, that wraps up qualifying, and right now he is on a lap yet to be set, I presume. UK on a fast lap himself. Yep, he is. Nope, seems to be on his out lap, so he won't be able to better his time. But Avi qualifies in P2, and I'm just wondering if the game is kind of glitching for me, and I presume so. But yeah, we lost out on KDB and Sicknig in the beginning of qualifying after an unfortunate disqualification. From what I believe, Sicknig had issues with the game. KDB, however, spun out on track. Meanwhile, a couple of drivers who are looking competitive, definitely SV11 right up there in P5, and Gouts P4, qualifying P4 at Spa. He did say coming into this race that he does seem competitive, but across the line comes RB Ferrello. I wonder if he can better his time. Yes, he does. He puts that car right up on top. Possibly looking at pole position for RB Ferrello, but UK evidently on a fast lap. Can he better his time? Can he beat RB Ferrello? Yes, he does. It's UK. If Big Man Joe can't set a better lap time, And does he? He does have a better lap time for himself. Qualifies on the second row, where it's UK on pole position at Spa. 1 minute 42.351. What a late right hook from the man. We see Avi Ferrero on the front row alongside UK. Big Man Joe on the second row. We got Avi right there on the second row as well. Gout starting on the third row alongside SV11. Now, I must say, SV11 has been getting quite the flack recently in the league and amongst the drivers. Probably amongst some of y'all as well, that he tends to crash out more often than finish in the points. So, with respect to that, I believe SV for points is the hashtag everyone's pushing for. But yeah, UK on pole position. He's been absolutely brilliant this season. Been caught off with bad luck multiple times because the game keeps disconnecting him. But we could have possibly seen him go up for the title alongside General Pepe and RB Ferrero. But clearly RB Ferrero making good on the fact that General Pepe is not present out on track. We are in for quite the race, to say the least. KDB starting at the back of the pack along with his teammate, and General Pepe nowhere to be seen. For the 11 of you all watching, make sure you hit that subscribe button if you haven't, and if you're new here, I'm Zatak, and welcome to the Bwoah Racing League. We got Rocket Man qualifying in P10 as well. So we could see the Alfa Romeo is getting a decent haul of points if they can keep their positions at the end of the race, or probably better them. And another significant change in the driver lineup. We do not have Freeze out on track. We have Drunken Monkey in his spot. And he has qualified a decent P11, not too far off from Horning. But then again, we've seen the Mercs do incredibly well in the Bwoah Racing League. So let's see if Drunken Monkey can fill into Freeze's shoes well. Big 356 qualifying P15 while his teammate is up there in P4. But yep, everybody beyond P11 do get a free choice in which tire compound they want to run at the start of the race. And we'll be beginning soon enough. Alright folks, I'm getting news that General Pepe will be out on track. But for now, we wait. Meanwhile, those of you watching us, make sure you drop in the chat who you're here for, which driver are you here to support. I know a bunch of Gouts' friends must be here to show him some support. He's qualified a brilliant 5th. Are we beating his lap time at the last moments of the race? But yeah, top 5 qualifying for Gouts. And fun fact, he's never qualified. He never finished a race below his qualifying position before, apart from France this season, where he unfortunately retired from the race itself. But yep, can't wait to see what each driver brings to this race. It's Spa-Francorchamps, and we are at Belgium. Belgian GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4. Ooh, just looking at chat and support coming through for Drunken Monkey, who is in Freeze's seat. We got Freeze in the chat as well, and we got Arson in the chat saying Accelerate will choke, and let's hope not. He's qualified in a pretty decent position this time around, so we could possibly see the Accelerate of the old, the one we saw in Season 3, multiple race winner, and of course the one who enjoys a wet Monaco race. We're set to go in about 10 seconds, so 10 of you are watching, make sure you drop in the chat who you're here for, which driver are you here to show your support, because right now we're going to start the formation lap. A lap around the whole circuit right before the race start itself. And of course, a couple of drivers known to reset back on their grid position after getting disqualified during the formation lap. SV11, significant one. Here out on track to prove everybody wrong. He can finish in the points. He's not someone who's out there just to go and crash out into turn 1, given that the game does not mess with him anymore. But yep, we could possibly see SV11 be at his best out on track. But UK starting on pole position, RB Ferrero right behind, crucial for the title, and by the looks of it, it is Chris Bay and VPA for the Haas team, so that means General Pepe will not be on track. No. Doesn't that put the driver's title into a spin-off? Meanwhile in the chat, Freeze says, Miss Rudra alongside you. Indeed, I miss Rudra too, but yep, he had to step away due to personal reasons. But it is what it is. We could have brought out some interesting new things for everybody watching. Hopefully we will be able to going into the next race weekend. But yeah, Ruds, we miss you, buddy. And Big Man Joe qualifying on the second row. Are we qualifying on the second row alongside him? So last time they were alongside each other. I believe it was on track after Vex lost out to Big Man Joe in track position going into turn 1 of one of the races, and Avi went completely wide into the barriers. So yep, looking forward to the race start. We got Horning starting P8, Setu RC 18 in the top 10 this time around. Last race he didn't seem as competitive as he usually would be, but clearly it's Spa, it's Belgium. Setu RC 18 last time around, a race winner on this track. And another fun fact for y'all, about almost 9 cars retired in the race in Season 3 of the Belgian GP of the Bwoah Racing League. And I wonder if everyone can keep it clean throughout the race this time around. 22 laps to go as the boys line up on the grid. We got UK lining up on the front row. RB Ferrero, Big Lanjo, Avi Gouts rolls up in a P5, SC11 right there, Accelerate. alongside his teammate Horning, Setu RC18, Rocket Man, Drunken Monkey, Rusty Nish, and the rest of the grid. Yep, all eyes on this guy on the front of the pack. UK will begin his race from pole position. The 5 lights all set and ready to go out. Will go out and they shoot down the main straight. Renault going out of place there, and they're almost 5 wide in the midfield, and we've got a spinning Red Bull, I presume. UK still holding on to that lead. Sector 1 goes instantly yellow, and we got Alpha Tauri and an Alfa Romeo off track. Meanwhile, a glitch shows KDB in the front of the pack, but it's chaos at the back of the pack, and I presume Rusty Nish had a horrible race start because I saw him spinning. So clearly, evidently, it is. They went through Rayon and Urush as they go through the next sector. Almost 3 wide into the exit of Sector 1. Hyrox 24 will probably attempt to dive down the inside. No, he doesn't. He holds his position. Meanwhile, Rocketman will be looking to take that position away from Hyrox 24 on his gearbox. KDB on the climb as well. He's running P12 right now. Down the inside of Rocketman he goes. Can he take Hyrox 24 as well in the next corner is the question. And yes, he does. KDB up in a P10 from P19 in a matter of a sector. Meanwhile, UK holding on to that lead. It's been completely clean in the front of the pack, so that's great news. SV11 seems to have lost that position to his teammate, and Gults too. So Accelerate running P5, clearly not choking. The gaps become larger in the front. Meanwhile, Sickening, what a climb he's done, just like his teammate. Thunderbird goes wide, off track almost. It almost seemed like he was going to crash out, but a brilliant job at keeping it on track. Sickening being audacious here, makes the move on Thunderbird. It's Hyrox 24 right up next. Can he get it done going in the next sector? Around the outside, down the inside he goes. Sickening gets it done. It's the Racing Points on their toes during the race. Goes wide, however, but will keep that position close to his teammate. We're trying to close that gap. Setu RC18 currently running P10, I presume, and the table seems to have glitched, folks, so forgive the game, I guess. Well, race this is turning out to be Sector 1 go clearly yellow, and I'm having issues with the table, so I might just have issues with bringing you all footage. But then again, the Renault's lagging behind and clearly no issues. The only driver for having issues is Avi. He's running P13 as it seems. Of course, UK having a comfortable lead of the race, 3 laps up, and he's built a 1 second gap to RB Ferrello, who's got to be cautious because he's got Big Man Joe on his gearbox. And when you got Big Man Joe on your gearbox, don't think twice that he won't try to make a move on you, regardless the part of the track. KDB, what a race he's driving. He's up in a P8 and he get the move done as Horning goes wide in Sector 2. He's up in a P7. Next up is SV11. He's coming for you, UK. Your good old friend KDB making the climb from the back of the pack. UK sets the fastest lap, 1 minute 46.877. Rocketman, the first one to rack up a penalty out on track, and VPA gets one as well. Well, it did seem like there was a bit of a tussle between Chris Bai and Rocketman. However, it seems like Chris Bai has disconnected. Up on the gearbox of RB Ferrero, we saw Sebastian Vettel make a move on Lewis Hamilton on the same part of the track, and this time around it was Big Man Joe on RB Ferrero. Big Man Joe up into P2. RB Ferrero seems to be out of pace today. So again, early into the race, 3 laps only done and 3 second time penalty for Sickening. RB Ferrero coming back for his position. Goes accelerates, looking at this and saying, keep it going, boys. I'm gonna come for that position. Meanwhile, UK dropping incredibly. Yep, it's UK spun. He's tumbling down the order. The race leader, he led the race for 3 laps or so, qualified on pole, and disaster struck this time around again. He's running P8 now, and that's handed Big Man Joe the race lead. Cards running P4, real close to the podium finishers, possibly. But then again, SE11 is hungry for position. KDB on his tail. Yep, on the main stage they go. All sectors light up purple for KDB. As he tries to give it his all. What a climb he's made. P19 up into P6, and it's only been 4 laps. Isn't that a treat? Meanwhile, Big Man Joe on sector 2. He is expecting a counter from RB Ferrello. Big Man Joe did it last lap. RB Ferrello gets it done this lap. Can he get wheel to wheel through the next corner? Yep, he fends off Big Man Joe just that much. We will see this battle continue for the next couple of corners, I'm sure. Sector 1 lights up yellow, and that's a Renault out on track. Yep, that is a Renault, and that's safety car. So I presume it is a Renault that brought out the safety car. Is it Avi? No, it's not, which means it is Thunderbird. Yep, no front wing for Thunderbird. With sector 1, I believe he went off track into the barriers, and it's safety car as RB Ferrero just took the race lead from Big Man Joe, who has accelerate right behind, and Gouts running P4, SV11 running P5, KDB 4 laps up, and what a climb. P6, Honning P7, UK tumbled down the order from the race lead to P8. Avi also tumbled down the order to P9. Setu RC18 running P10, and so on. 4 drivers in fact running on the mediums. So Vic C56, High Rocks 24, VPA, and Drunken Monkey. Drive-through penalty for speeding under safety car for Rusty Nish. Not something you'd want to rack up in a race like this. But yep, it is what it is. RB Ferrell goes into the pits. Big Man Joe follows him into the pits as well. SV11 Gouts, however, decide to stay out. Gouts racks up a penalty as well, and he leads this race on lap number 5. Clearly not the first time, however. He has led a race in Hungary of season 3, and he sees himself leading Spa at season 4. Yep, SV11 right behind. Wixie 56, surprisingly enough, after half the grid has gone into the pits, running P3. Irox 24 right behind P4. So you don't see these guys in the front of the pack too often. But then again, considering the rest of the grid did end up pitting, clearly, evidently in front. RB Ferrero running P5 with Big Man Joe right behind and Accelerate to follow. All 3 drivers on the hards. I presume there should be another lap of safety car before it goes in, and then we will restart this race. It's brilliant to see all 20 drivers still out on track, and I hope we will be able to see all 20 drivers finish this race. Quite the opposite of what happened last season out on this track. Then again, just hope. Gouts leads this race. That's 11 right behind. This is where the battle for the win is, isn't it? RB Ferrero, Big Banjo, and Accelerate. Unless things are things go completely left field again and bring out a safety car. Let's hope not. I hope it's not the commentators. I hope the commentators' curse doesn't imply here too much. Though the drivers are already on me for multiple reasons of the past, multiple instances of the past, so I'm going to rack up another one of those instances. Meanwhile, Gouts leads this race, and yep, another lap of safety car. I presume it will go in this lap, and we'll be ready to race on lap number 7. Yep. This ghosted car of Chris Bai, I presume it's the AI, of course. So KDB just has Accelerate, Big Banjo, and RB Ferrero, which means he's close to the drivers who could possibly finish in the podium positions. So clearly he's made the mighty climb. Brilliant stuff. So he did go into the pits for a fresh set of tires, and it's the mediums he did come out on. He's got UK right behind him. So yeah, we can see close wheel-to-wheel battles there as well. Meanwhile, 11 of you all watching, make sure you drop in the chat. Who do you think will come out on top at the end of 10 laps? How about that? At the end of 10 laps. So 4 laps to go, who do you think will be still leading this race? Funny how the number plate seems to be blinking red, but we'll take that. We'll take that, Codemasters. We'll take that. I'm pretty sure he's a bit nervous, perhaps, Gouts, as the safety car says in this lap. Gouts goes through sector 3. He will lead the pack for at least a lap, I'm sure, or more. Yeah, I presume this is possibly a rare occasion where there's 2 Ferraris running in the podium positions for now. Comparatively different strategies compared to the RB Ferrero and Big Banjo Accelerate bunch. KDB as well. Safety car goes in, and Gouts leads this race. SV11 comes across the final corner as well. Big C56, and we restart the race as Gouts goes through the main straight, and Big C56 peeking down the inside, being cautious. He is aware, but Big Man Joe seems to have made the move on RB Ferrero. Yes, he has. And RB Ferrero trying to close that gap. Hyrox 24 clearly glitching amidst the front runners. Meanwhile, right in front, Gouts is pulled away as they come through Radion. The drivers on sector 1, KDB trying to close that gap to Accelerate. But it's RB Ferrero going wheel to wheel, going around the outside of Big Banjo. Did get a peak, but not too much. Big Banjo almost goes off track there, but holds on as RB Ferrero seems to have lost a bit of pace going into that corner. Meanwhile, KDB closing in on these two, tussling it out. RB Ferrero being cautious and has lost a position in the process. Now he's got 2 drivers to worry about, but he goes wheel to wheel, I presume. No, he doesn't. He's tumbled down the order. He's lost position to Accelerate as well. Not going his way as UK and Avi right behind go wheel to wheel. Avi taking that fight to UK, and they have horning for party. Meanwhile, UK trying to close that gap to RB Ferrero. Up ahead, KDB on the gearbox of Big Man Joe. What a battle in the front this is turning out to be. They fought for the title last season. They're fighting for track position this season. Loses a bit of his rear, but keeps it on track somehow. Almost got wiped out there, but the gap to Accelerate seems to have closed quite a bit. So clearly, Accelerate will be smiling at this. It almost seemed like he got a position jump easily. But yeah, KDB trying to close that gap. RB Ferrello behind, trying to go wheel to wheel with accelerate around the outside. He goes right behind UK, trying to get a double position jump. There's contact between accelerate and RB Ferrello, and both spin out. It's an AlphaTauri and Red Bull off track as sector 1 goes yellow. Meanwhile, Big Man Joe seems to have lost position to KDB up in front from P19 all the way to P3, but not for long. Big Man Joe closing that gap to KDB as well. He's pulled off a move here 3 laps ago on RB Ferrello, but this time around he's up against KDB, so he's gonna be a bit cautious, I'm sure, as UK closes in on Big Man Joe as well. Guts continues to lead this race as we run on lap number 8. What a fight in the front this is turning out to be. After having lost the position to KDB, it's UK on the gearbox of Big Man Joe. Well, in the midfield, Setu RC18 looking at this battle, raveling out in front of him, Horning and Drunken Monkey. No, Hyrox 24, my bad. And Horning shouldn't be wasting time behind Hyrox 24 in my opinion, as Hyrox 24 duly goes out of track onto the grass for a bit. Kept it on track however, but with the pace he's got, Horning should be able to make the move and get it done. Going to the next corner, tries to peek around the outside and will keep it close as SV11 has pitted. Horning overextended his advantage and loses his rear and positions to only Kapi and Setu RC18. Meanwhile, SV11 pit for mediums, a fresh set of mediums. Thunderbird as well. However, Gouts, what a lead he's racked up, a 4-second gap to KDB, who's running close in second. UK having made the move on Big Man Joe. Runs P3. Are we close behind Big Man Joe, waiting for a mistake or two? Tries to peek down the inside, keeps it on his tail. And the sickening, waiting and watching right behind. Sector 1 lights up yellow and it's a Renault yet again, and it's Thunderbird, folks. Unfortunate for him. He's had another unfortunate spin as we were on board his teammate Avi. Bit on the grass, the sickening. He tries to close that gap. It seems like Rocketman lost position to RB Ferrello. Horning trying to close that gap to only Kapi. Meanwhile, up ahead, Setu RC18 making that move on Hyrox 24. A bit of contact up ahead as well. Setu RC18 keeps it on the gearbox of Hyrox 24. Meanwhile, only Kapi makes a pass on him, and so will Horning soon enough going into turn 1. Late braking as well down the inside. Couldn't get it done. RB Ferrello getting in the mix as well. The battle in the midfield just as interesting as the battle up in front, as RB Ferrello will go alongside Horning, try to replicate a similar Pierre Gasly on Perez move perhaps, but they're trying 3-way in sector 1. Horning did take the inside line. RB Ferrello trying to go around the outside of Setu RC18. Can we see a double pass? No, we don't, but RB Ferrello gets it done. Horning aggressively swings to the right, goes off track as well, wheel to wheel as they go through sector 2. Setu RC18 trying his best to keep his position, but will have to give it up. 2 positions lost in a matter of 2 corners, and Horning runs a decent P10 behind RB Ferrello running P9. Williams drivers doing mighty well today out on track. Hyrox 24 and only Kapi running in the points. Go Gouts, podium coming for sure, says Atul in the chat. Well, Atul, he's in a very good position, that's for sure. He's leading this race on 9-lap old softs, however, and he's got race winners after race winners right behind him. The only one he needs to worry about is KDB. A safety car will work miracles, but then again Gouts pulls into the pits after almost 10 laps on the softs. Brilliantly done, Gouts. Meanwhile, KDB will lead this race. Mind you, this is a driver who started P19 and now he leads this race. The driver right behind him, the driver who qualified on pole. Sector 3 lights up yellow, and I wonder if it's a Red Bull or a Ferrari. Yup, it is a Ferrari. I wonder if he's got front wing damage, or possibly it was Renault Thunderbird. Meanwhile, the battle continues in front as Big Man Joe takes that fight to Avi. Yep, Avi seems to have disconnected, and Big Man Joe will take that position like taking candy from a baby. Easy as that. It was unfortunate for Big Man Joe once before due to a similar kind of glitch where he got disconnected and possibly, arguably lost out on a race win. But then again, he'll be glad this time things worked in his favor. He runs a decent P3 with Sicknick right behind. Now RB Ferrero coming back for what's his as the Hyrox 24 in the Williams goes wide. That's just what he needs. RB Ferrero will try and peek down around the outside and keep it on the gearbox of Hyrox 24 as Guts comes out in P10 around the outside. He peeks again. Hyrox 24 making it incredibly difficult for RB Ferrero to pass. Brilliant defending by the man running P6. Wheel to wheel they go. Medium tires, 10 laps old, but shouldn't quite matter. RB Ferrero gets that move done, but Hyrox 24 staying close behind. Seems like I have lost times. Well, let's jump to the driver who led this race. 3-second time penalty for only Copy UK. Seems to have had a disconnection and is coming back right now. He's still running a decent P2. Seems like a lot of drivers have disconnected. Big Man Joe seems to have disconnected as well. Avi should be able to get that position back from Big Man Joe then. Sicknick runs in a decent P3 position. 5-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane for Seto RC18 as he runs P17 and goes into the pits for a fresh set of tires. Seems like I've lost all time intervals. Fight for position is in the midfield, it seems like, as RB Ferrero tries his best to close that gap to Big Man Joe while Big Man Joe was disconnected. But then again, he has returned and will look forward to get his position back. And it's safety car, yellow flags, all three sectors, and it's Thunderbird who's faced an unfortunate retirement in sector 1 in fact. So let's stay on board KDB as he comes across the final corner. I think in turn 1 we should be able to see Thunderbird. Or could that be the safety car itself? Wouldn't be surprised if it was a safety car. But yep, this does mix things up quite a bit. I'm pretty sure Gouts is possibly regretting pitting. If he had stayed out for a lap, maybe a lap or two, he could possibly have gotten a free pit stop. Maybe, possibly. We'll never know. Stutters, sorry guys, says Thunderbird in the chat. Support coming through for Sicknick in the chat as well. Drive-through penalty for speeding on the safety car for Drunken Monkey as KDB leads this race. Meanwhile, folks watching, make sure you drop in the chat who are you here for, which driver are you here to show your support. Because support coming through for Gauts, who's currently running P6. Accelerate seems to have disconnected as well. It's his AI out on track. Meanwhile, Big Man Joe running a decent P4. Sicknig up into the podium positions. Clearly, I wasn't wrong when I said we're in for a treat of a race in qualifying itself. What a qualifying we had and what a race we've translated into. Lap number 13 as we are at. We've got 19 drivers out on track. 2 safety cars are done. And KDB, driver who started P19, leads this race. Yep, I presume one more lap of the safety car and it will go in, which means we should be ready to go racing on lap number 15. Meanwhile, UK seems to have pit. Yep, that's a fresh set of softs. Yes, it is a fresh set of softs. Even Hyrox 24 is on a fresh set of softs. And he will come out P15, right ahead of Rocketman. Yep. And as it stands, as UK went into the pits, it's Sicknig who gets his position, which means we are looking possibly at a Racing Point 1-2. Then again, folks, just a couple of laps ago, RB Ferrello was running in the podium positions and he no longer is. But he's on a fresh set of mediums in P9, unlike the front runners, the rest of the front runners. So, yep, it's anyone's guess how the last of this race is going to end up being. 8 laps left into the Belgian GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4. The Battle of the Old up in front. Got Drunken Monkey as well in the mix. 4 drivers in the top 6 are proven race winners, and they're going to be battling going into turn 1 as the safety car should be in. Severe collision with Rocketman under safety car. 5-second penalty for UK. I'm pretty sure that will be reviewed by the stewards post race, but then again, safety car will go in this lap, and KDB will lead this race. Trying to bunch them up together. 5-second penalty for ignoring yellow flag for RB Ferrello. Another penalty which could possibly be reviewed post race. Penalties under safety car will be reviewed post race by the stewards, and yep, usually they're a deciding factor on race finish positions as well. But then again, 5-second penalty, another 5-second penalty added to UK as KDB leads this race with his teammate right behind Sicknig, as well as Big Man Joe right behind him. Accelerate running P4, Gauts P5, Awi P6, and at the back of the pack, I wonder if there's collisions and chaos. Drunken Monkey going into the pit. Sector 3 goes yellow. But unusual in my opinion, considering there's no one at Sector 3. No driver out on Sector 3. Only a couple of cars that pit. And yep, that's SV11 taking the fight to Avi. Late braking going into Sector 2. RB Ferrello on the tail of SV11. Remember, they were in the other car just a few races ago. And wheel to wheel they go. It's a fight for track position. SV11 will not concede that easily, and he does not. SV11 holds on to that position, and that should give Horning the momentum he needs to close in on RB Ferrello perhaps. RB Ferrello still keeping close to the gearbox right behind. Hyrox 24 closing in on Horning. This is where the fight is, isn't it? AlphaTauri versus Red Bull. RB Ferrello around the outside should go wheel to wheel. SV11 making it a tad bit difficult for RB Ferrello, but that shouldn't have an effect. Sector 1 and 2 lights up yellow as RB Ferrello takes the position nonetheless. Big Man Joe running P3 as Accelerator runs P4, and I wonder what happened there. It's a Mercedes car that's fell down back of the pack, or is that a Haas, I presume? Yep, that is. So it's not a Haas. It seems to me that Drunken Monkey, yes, it's Drunken Monkey, that has perhaps encountered an issue. Horning on the tail of SV11 this time around. On the tail, there's a bit of contact as well, I presume. Will he pull? He'll swing to the left as Hyrox 24 does a similar swing, but he'll swing back to the right. 3 ways perhaps? No, it's 2 ways, wheel to wheel, and Hyrox 24 takes the brunt of it, goes off track. I think there was contact between him and UK, and I think UK could possibly have been held accountable for that later on. Will be held accountable for that later on. But we'll find out eventually. RB Ferrello trying to close that gap to the front runners. Gouts next up. Yep, Gouts trying to make sure RB Ferrello doesn't get the position easily, as anyone would make sure of that. Fending off a very hungry for position RB Ferrello, and should be doing good on that. But his gap to RB doesn't seem advantageous as there's a Mercedes out on track. The Drunken Monkey, the glitches in this game, I tell you. But KDB holds on to that race lead with Sicknig running right behind. UK running a steady P10, and DRS has been enabled, which means on the main straight could possibly see a move being done. Late braking into turn 1. RB Ferrello still keeping it behind Gouts as SV11 closes in on the pair. Yep, he should have everything he needs. Slipstream, DRS, has everything in the back, and around the outside he will get it done. And right up in front, Avi and Accelerate went wheel to wheel, and I think there was a bit of contact as Avi went off track for a bit. Now Avi Ferrello gets that position pretty darn well. Horning next up, trying to take a position away from SV11 as UK tries to go wheel to wheel with Horning, trying to peek down the inside as much as he can. Sector 1 seems to have lit up yellow, and that is possibly because VPA is in the pits. Coming out, I think he had a bit of an issue. UK gets handed a 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings as well. A bit of contact there between SV11 and Horning, and I don't think he'll be pleased post-race, because Horning, SV11 and UK, a bit of a tussle there, and SV11 and UK has faced the brunt of it. A lot of positions lost. As only Cuppy goes up into P9, SV11 is infuriated at this point, but it's head down and mode push for SV. Doesn't seem to have the pace, and only Cuppy with the pace he's Hyrox 24 in fact with the pace he's got possibly makes the move done. No, he went wheel to wheel. That's wheel 11, no doubt. And I think there was a bit of contact as well. And another driver to that list of being infuriated post-race. It's Hyrox24. Vix356 will try around the outside as Hyrox24 aggressively defends on Vix356. That's not something you see every day. Stays on the gearbox, however, of Hyrox24. Vix356 will be able to make a move going into the exit of Sector 2, I presume. Up around the outside. This is the same part of the track. He actually retired from the race last season around, but Vix356 this time around gets the move done and is running P11. And I have a feeling Big Man Joe said to himself, look, if I keep the car within a second of him, I could possibly get the position. Because Sicknick has a time penalty and Big Man Joe doesn't. Maybe same goes with Avi and Accelerate. I'm pretty sure they'll be fighting for track position in no time. Big Man Joe on 13 lap old hards going along the main straight. But all sectors light up purple for Avi as he sets the fastest lap of the race on lap number 19. As Rusty Nish is within a second of a competitor at the back of the pack, his teammate RB Ferrello closes in on Accelerate. Meanwhile, Big Man Joe gets the move done up ahead on Sicknig. So clearly penalties didn't quite matter. Accelerate fends off RB Ferrello, however, for just a bit. Meanwhile, RB Ferrello closing in on Accelerate. Up ahead, Avi on the gearbox of Sicknig. Both drivers with penalties, but unfortunately that 1-2 finish for Racing Point seems to be just a dream for now. On lap number 19 at least, with Big Man Joe running a decent P2. KDB racks up his first penalty of the race, 3-second time penalty after multiple warnings. 4.5 second gap to Big Man Joe. Things just got interesting, but Big Man Joe tumbles down the order as he's beached out on track on the gravel. And I just wonder if the game played tricks on him once again. And clearly that elusive 1-2 may not be too far off. May not be a dream, possibly a reality soon enough. Meanwhile, Avi running P3, however, with penalties. Sicknig seems to have gone just a tad bit wide. Bit of contact between Accelerate and Avi there. And right behind RB Ferrello could possibly capitalize on that contact between the two drivers. Wheel to wheel on the main straight with Accelerate. And late braking into turn 1, Accelerate should hold off RB Ferrello for just a bit longer. RB Ferrello trying a similar Pierre Gasly on Perez move. Will get it done earlier than Pierre did on Perez. Sicknig running P2 with Avi and right beside him. Position and right behind the going wheel to wheel Accelerate and RB Ferrello. So it's a wheel to wheel battle front and back. And of course, it's General Pepe in the chat saying beating Racing Point in the constructors will be a hell of a fight now. Indeed, it will be, won't it? I mean, look at these guys. They're running P1 and P3. And these are the same drivers who qualified P19 and P20 after unfortunate disqualification during qualifying. Meanwhile, Accelerate running P5 will try and close that gap. RB Ferrello, if he can keep it as close as possible to Sicknig, is looking at a podium, which will help him in the driver's title fight. Because KDB steaming away. Unfortunate, however, for Big Man Joe. He was running P2 and it seemed like he could possibly close the gap and snatch a race win or so. Yep, it's the two Alfa Romeos, and I'd presume it is team orders, but doesn't quite seem like, knowing these two, it possibly could have been But then again, Big Man just steams away. Rocketman will try and fend off Rusty Nish as much as he can, pushes Rusty Nish off track as well, or Rusty Nish being audacious enough to go around the outside on the grass as well. Running P14 however, and Rocketman seems to have spun on the final corner. Up ahead, RB Ferrello keeping that gap within a second of Sicknig. And now we running P2. But yep, RB Ferrello should have track position soon enough as he's on the gearbox of Sicknig. And the Sicknig makes a bit of mistake, 5-second penalty for Chris Bai's AI, as the AI ignores a yellow flag now. Okay, you can hear in my voice how messed up that sounds. Anyway, moving on, RB Ferrello is still on the gearbox of Sicknig. Lap number 21, the penultimate lap. I got a battle in the front we're seeing. Down the order, however, no drivers close enough to be making moves as they go wheel to wheel through sector 3, Sicknig and RB Ferrello, and it's on the track. RB Ferrello wants that podium position, and that's what he will get. And if he can close that gap to Avi, we could possibly see him get a P2 finish as well, as KDB begins the final lap. Yep, there you have it, folks. Oh no, there's a lot of penalties racked up by both drivers. 11 seconds for Avi and RB Ferrello 10 seconds. So, could we possibly see that 1-2 actually ending up being possible? Sector 3 lights up yellow, as I presume is a Haas, and it is UK who's running almost dead last, as VP is the one running P18. Accelerate, closing that gap to Sicknig. Yes, it is Sicknig. 3-second time penalty for Irox 24. There you have it, folks. The penalties are on your screens. KDB outright winner of this race. He's going through sector 2 as we speak. Battle for position in P4 and 5, as well as P12. P11, I think this is going to be, it's going to be huge advantage for Accelerate and possibly Big Man Joe as well. Both drivers without penalties. Gulf racks up a 3-second time penalty, but all eyes on KDB as he comes across the penultimate and the final corner. It's been a long time waiting. P19 all the way to P1. KDB wins the Belgian GP of the Bwoah Racing League Season 4. What a race he's driven. Avi comes across the finish line, P2. But RB Ferrello beats that. He's in P2. Sicknig beats that. Accelerate beats that. And it's Accelerate who will hold on to that P2 finish, which means it's 2 racing points on the podium. What a gap that is between RB Ferrello and Honing. Gulz finishes a decent P6, and both Ferraris in fact in the points. Avi drops down all the way to P8 after time penalties. And only Kapi and SV11 to sum up the points finishing positions. What a race it's been. The 2 drivers in on the podium started P19 and P20. P2 for Accelerate. What a race he's driven. After quite some time, we did indeed see the Accelerate of the world. Super unfortunate for Big Man Joe. Up until lap number 20 or so, he was possibly setting his sights on a race win. He was 4.5 seconds off of KDB. KDB having that 3-second time penalty. We could have just seen a battle for the race win. But yep, unfortunate. Yeah, what a race we've had. KDB on the top step of the podium. Accelerate finishes P2, and Sicknig on the podium with his teammate. P20 to P3. I just wonder who might end up being driver of the day. And rightfully so, it's KDB. P19 to P1, take a bow. I believe it's his, if my calculations stand right, if my memory serves me right to be honest, 6th race win. He equals General Pepe. And yep, both of them 1 race away from equaling Big Man Joe. Absolutely stunning, absolutely beautiful. 13 of y'all who stayed till the very end, make sure you drop in the chat how you felt the race went. But definitely post-race penalties being deducted will have an effect, I'm sure. In the positions, yep, on the podium positions, perhaps, considering I believe RB Ferrero was handed a few penalties which were unfair, so we could see a bit of mix in the standings itself in the top 10. Then again, make sure you follow our socials linked in the description to be updated. Until the next race weekend, folks, and possibly have Ruds alongside me. What a race it's been, the Belgian GP. Quite the entertainer. It's hit after hit, race weekend after race weekend. And for the 11 of you all who watched till the very end, thank you so much. And see you again next race. Cheers.